Welcome to Markets on Air.
Closer ties. Germany and Brazil strengthen cooperation. One prominent symbol of robust German-Brazilian economic ties is the Gol. The Volkswagen model is Brazil's biggest-selling car. It's been manufactured just outside Sao Paulo for decades. German companies were well represented at this year's German-Brazilian business meeting. Brazil is currently planning 180 billion euros worth of investments in Germany. The Brazilians are extremely curious when it comes to innovation in the areas of sustainability and energy efficiency. We have a lot to offer in these areas, and the same goes for infrastructure expansion. We want to provide them with the help they're looking for. At Sao Paulo State Theater, German President Joachim Gauck officially opened the Year of Germany in Brazil, an initiative aimed at deepening and expanding German-Brazilian relations.
Honing their skills. Final preparations for Leipzig. The city of Leipzig is expecting 200,000 visitors in July for the 42nd Worldskills Championship. The participants have been training for months, like here in Colombia. Students at this technical training center in Bogota are getting their bodies into shape. After several hours of instruction, they need some physical activity to keep fit. Science student Christian Vergara will be among Colombia's representatives at the competition in Leipzig.
I started going to workshops when I was a young boy, and I really enjoyed working with the machines. I wanted to train for this job because I see it as an art.
The future polymechanic has to master two disciplines with utmost precision: mechanics and electronics. He has to submit 10 finished workpieces in advance, and then make a further 10 in Leipzig while working against the clock. Right next door, another Team Columbia trainee is learning how to lay cooling pipes. The countdown to the big event in the first week of July is now on, and the excitement is mounting. Everyone at the training center has their fingers crossed for their fellow students representing Colombia. For most contestants, the Worldskills competition will mark their first trip to Europe, and they want to be in the best possible shape. Out of work. Young people in Europe are facing record unemployment, especially in the countries hardest hit by the European debt crisis. In Greece, 59% of people under 25 are jobless. In Spain, nearly 56% of young people are out of work. In comparison, in Germany, only 7.6% of young people are unemployed.
Drawn to Germany. Last year, some 370,000 more people migrated to Germany than left the country. Most of the migrants came from Poland and Romania. But a growing number of people from the crisis-hit countries in southern Europe are also coming to Germany in search of better prospects.
Slow recovery. The German economy grew by a mere 0.1% in the first quarter of 2013. Analysts had expected a better performance. Officials from the Federal Statistics Office say the sluggish growth was partly caused by this year's prolonged winter weather. The German government is forecasting 0.5% growth for the entire year.
$4,720,878,000 tons. That's the amount of CO2 and other greenhouse gases currently released into the atmosphere by EU countries. The figure represents a 15% reduction from 1990 levels, and it puts the EU on track toward meeting its goal of a 20% reduction by the year 2020.
Punitive import duties, raising costs of Chinese solar panels in Europe. Solar panels from China have long created problems for European manufacturers. They're almost half as cheap, and China now controls around 80% of the European market. Now the EU is reacting with a plan to impose tariffs of around 47% on Chinese panels. We hope both sides can uphold the constructive and cooperative spirit and properly resolve differences and disputes through constructive dialogue and negotiations. The tariffs come into effect in June and are initially set to last until December. By then, the European Commission hopes to have completed its probe into China's export subsidies. That was Markets on Air.